Have you ever wondered about the economic journey of Argentina? Let's start from the late 19th century. This period in Argentina's history witnessed a significant economic boom. The introduction of modern agricultural techniques and the expansion of railways across the vast Pampas grasslands triggered the growth of a robust agricultural sector. This was a time when Argentina transformed itself into a major global player in the export of beef and wheat. The fertile lands of the Pampas and the efficient railway system made this possible. Moreover, the promise of economic opportunities attracted a wave of European immigrants, further fueling the country's economic growth. The late 19th century was indeed a pivotal period in Argentina's economic history, laying a solid foundation for its future. It was a time when prosperity seemed limitless and the nation was poised for greater heights. This period set the stage for Argentina's Golden Age. As we step into the early 20th century, Argentina was entering its Golden Age. This was a period of prosperity where the sun seemed to always shine on the Argentine economy. The key to this golden era was the agricultural sector, which was not just thriving but booming. Fields upon fields of wheat waved under the Argentine sun, and the cattle industry was flourishing, contributing to a period of significant economic growth. Buenos Aires, the capital, was not just a city, it was a symbol of this golden age. It transformed into a bustling metropolis, a thriving cultural and economic hub. The city streets buzzed with the energy of progress, the air was thick with the promise of opportunity, and every corner echoed with the symphony of industry. But all that glitters is not gold. The prosperity of this era, like the setting sun, painted a beautiful picture. However, the Golden Age wouldn't last forever. Mid-20th century brought a significant shift with the rise of Juan Perón. As Argentina's president, Peron introduced populist policies that were initially quite successful. He nationalized key industries, driving a surge in industrialization that was unprecedented in Argentine history. Alongside this, Peron also implemented social welfare programs that improved living standards across the country. However, as the saying goes, all that glitters is not gold. Peron's economic policies, while initially beneficial, led to mismanagement that eventually strained Argentina's finances. Political turmoil was another factor that marred his era. The country was in a state of constant unrest, with protests and strikes becoming a common sight. In the end, Peron was ousted from power in 1955, but his influence on Argentina's economy was indelible. His era was a period of economic highs and lows, setting the stage for the economic roller coaster that Argentina would experience in the decades to follow. This period marked a turning point in Argentina's economic journey. The decades that followed were a roller coaster of economic highs and lows. After the ousting of Peron in 1955, Argentina's economy embarked on a tumultuous journey. The 60s were a time of significant industrialization, fueling a period of economic growth. The nation's cities swelled as rural dwellers flocked to urban areas, seeking opportunities in the burgeoning industries. However, the prosperity was not to last. By the 70s, the Argentine economy was in a state of flux. Economic instability reigned, with inflation rates soaring and foreign debt mounting. The nation's social fabric was also being tested, with social unrest becoming a common feature of Argentine life. This period of economic turbulence culminated in the onset of military rule in 1976. The junta seized control amidst a backdrop of economic woes and social discord. The 70s ended with the beginning of military rule and the onset of economic crises. This marked the start of one of the most challenging periods in Argentina's economic history. The dictatorship that began in 1976 brought with it severe economic challenges. The military junta, which assumed power, implemented a series of neoliberal economic policies. These policies, characterized by deregulation, privatization, and a reduced role for the state in the economy, led to an escalation in foreign debt. This steep climb in debt was further exacerbated by an increase in social inequality, creating a volatile economic environment. The early 1980s marked a period of severe economic crisis for Argentina. The country was plagued by hyperinflation, a situation where the prices of goods and services increased rapidly and uncontrollably. This led to a significant reduction in purchasing power and economic instability, with the Argentine peso losing its value rapidly. In addition to hyperinflation, Argentina defaulted on its debt, causing a ripple effect in the global economic landscape. This crisis set the stage for the economic reforms of the next era. The 90s brought a new leader, Carlos Menem, and with him, major economic reforms. Menem took the reins in 1989, steering Argentina towards a market-oriented approach. His administration implemented sweeping changes, including the privatization of state-owned companies and the liberalization of trade. These reforms were instrumental in stabilizing the economy and curbing the rampant inflation that had plagued Argentina. Additionally, foreign investment flowed into the country, bolstering the economy further. But this period of economic reform wasn't without its drawbacks. While these measures fostered financial stability and attracted investment, the fruits of this prosperity were not evenly distributed among the population. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, and social inequality became a growing concern. The economic reforms of the Menem era brought about significant change, but they also underscored a recurring theme in Argentina's economic history: the struggle to balance economic growth with social equity. Despite these advances, social inequality continued to rise. The new millennium brought with it one of Argentina's most severe economic crises. The year 2001 saw the nation default on its debt, a dramatic event that sent shockwaves through the global economy. The Argentine peso, previously pegged to the US dollar, collapsed in value, leading to a devastating economic downturn. At the same time, social unrest erupted as thousands of Argentinians took to the streets to protest against government policies and economic hardship. During this tumultuous period, political instability reached a fever pitch. In a span of just 2 weeks, the country saw 5 different presidents come and go, each unable to stem the tide of the economic crisis. The country was in turmoil, with its people in despair and its future uncertain. This crisis marked a low point in Argentina's economic journey, a moment in time that would have lasting implications for the nation and its people. In the aftermath of the 2001 crisis, Argentina embarked on a slow and challenging recovery. With the nation in upheaval, the government had to quickly implement measures to stabilize the economy. The first order of business was to restructure the country's overwhelming debt. This was a complex and time-consuming process involving negotiations with international creditors and the implementation of austerity measures. Alongside this, social programs were introduced to alleviate the hardships faced by the Argentine populace. These programs aimed to reduce poverty and unemployment while also addressing the country's deep-seated social inequality. As the early 2000s progressed, these efforts began to bear fruit. By the mid-2000s, Argentina was experiencing a period of economic growth once again. This was a testament to the resilience of the Argentine economy and the determination of its people. A nation that had been brought to its knees was slowly but surely finding its footing again. However, the road to recovery was far from smooth. The 2010s brought new economic challenges for Argentina. The decade was marked by high inflation, fiscal deficits, and a return to populist policies. These factors, combined with external pressures, led to a challenging economic environment. The inflation rate, which measures the annual change in the cost of goods and services, soared, putting a strain on the purchasing power of consumers. Fiscal deficits, the gap between what the government earns and what it spends, widened, leading to concerns about the sustainability of public finances. Populist policies, aimed at gaining political favor but often lacking in fiscal prudence, made a comeback. And then, in 2018, Argentina found itself in a predicament that necessitated a financial bailout from the International Monetary Fund. This was an effort to address the country's economic vulnerabilities and restore stability. Despite these challenges, Argentina continues to navigate its complex economic journey. Global events have also played a significant role in Argentina's economic narrative. The world doesn't exist in a vacuum, and neither does Argentina's economy. External factors such as fluctuations in commodity prices and global economic conditions have consistently influenced the country's economic performance. For instance, consider Argentina's dependence on its agricultural sector. When global demand for commodities like beef and wheat is high, Argentina prospers. But when demand falls or supply outstrips demand on the world stage, the consequences for Argentina can be severe. The global financial crisis of the late 2000s is another prime example. The crisis sent shockwaves through economies worldwide, and Argentina was no exception. The country's access to international capital markets was affected, and the ripple effects were felt across sectors, from commodities to real estate. More recently, let's take a look at Argentina's gross domestic product or GDP growth rate. The GDP growth rate is a crucial indicator of economic health, showing how much an economy has grown or contracted over a specific period. For 2022, Argentina's GDP growth rate was 5.24%. While this might sound impressive, it actually represents a 5.16% decline from the previous year. In 2021, the GDP growth rate was a robust 10.4%, reflecting a 20.34% increase from 2020. So what does this tell us? Well, it shows that Argentina's economy is sensitive to changes in the global economic climate. The fluctuations in the GDP growth rates from year to year reflect the impact of global events and trends, from shifts in commodity prices to broader economic conditions. But remember, economics isn't just about numbers. Behind these percentages are real people, businesses, and communities whose lives are affected by these economic trends. It's about the rancher in the Pampas, the shopkeeper in Buenos Aires, the factory worker in Cordoba, all part of the complex tapestry of Argentina's economic journey. As we look to the future, Argentina's economic journey continues to unfold, shaped by both internal decisions and external factors.